you would like to know whether or not Saddam Hussein has the atom bomb, just ask one of these three men. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Jerry Kowalski.
Number two.
My name is Jerry Kowalski.
Number three.
My name is Jerry Kowalski.
Only one of these people is the real Jerry Kowalski, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now, let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur, Orson Bean. Actress and recording star, Gloria Loring. Film and television producer, David Niven Jr. And from a current affair columnist, Cindy Adams. Here's the surprise host of To Tell the Truth, producer Mark Goodson.
Listen, if you're surprised to see me here, I'm surprised. We were standing backstage, and Alex, who was ready to come on, walked up and said, I have to run. I got to get to the hospital. My wife is about to have a baby. So here I am.
Hooray for Alex.
I've been backstage of this show, To Tell the Truth, since its first beginning in 1956. And I've never been in this position before, and it's kind of scary. But anyway, we're going to start on this group of folks. Jerry Kowalski, you've got to find out which is the real one, and let me tell you about it. I'll read you his story. Follow along as I read it. I, Jerry Kowalski, helped stop a secret Iraqi plan to build the atomic bomb. As president of an electronics firm, I received a fax message from a company in England inquiring about a device we make that can be used to trigger nuclear explosions. I immediately contacted the United States Customs. Working with them, we plotted out a sting operation. They noted that the fax came from the London office of a company that claimed they were marketing French fries. The British intelligence knew that the company was a front for the Iraqi military. That sting took 18 months to unfold. I met twice with the Iraqis. The operation ended successfully with the arrest of 2 ringleaders and the indictment of 3 Iraqi nationals. And I'm proud whatever part I played in slowing down Saddam Hussein. It's signed, Jerry Kowalski. We're going to find out more about this businessman who became a real-life James Bond right after this. Okay, our panel, all these 3 gentlemen claim to be Jerry Kowalski, who manufactures parts for nuclear bombs. Let's start the questioning with Cindy Adams.
Number one, if you plot out a sting operation, do you have to worry about talking in your sleep?
I suppose you might. I have never thought about it.
Number two, you said that you hear that you met with British intelligence and United States Customs. What about the CIA?
CIA was called initially, but they passed us on to U.S. Customs, and we didn't talk to them until after the whole affair was over 18 months later.
I see. Number three, how would you rate Iraqi intelligence community?
Oh, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd rate them about 6.
Okay, and then how would...
That's the end of that questioning, and now we go to David. David Niven.
Thank you. Number one, where is your company?
In San Marcos, California.
Okay, and number two, what actually is this little trigger mechanism that's needed for nuclear explosions?
It's a detonating device that, if I make an analogous, is what you would find in a camera. When you turn it on, that makes a 30-second humming noise, which discharges a flash lamp.
Number three, this French fry operation they had in England, I didn't know the English really liked French fries that much, but that's fascinating. What else were they trying to acquire?
Atomic switches that would set off a bomb.
Oh.
That's a bell for you, and now, Gloria.
Number three, what did you actually have to physically do as part of the sting?
I physically had to go to London with another agent and set up a sting operation.
Number two, where was this sting, this meeting taking place in London?
It was at the Cavendish Hotel in London near Piccadilly, where we had the second meeting.
Number one, how many Iraqis did you meet with at that time?
2 Iraqi nationals.
And did you meet with anyone?
Stopped in the middle of a question, then we go to Orson at the end.
Thank you, Mark. And I think you should fill in every time Alex has a baby.
Okay.
Number 3, whose law did the Iraqis break that they were arrested?
Well, basically international law, because there are only certain companies that are allowed, countries that are allowed to purchase atomic devices.
But number 1, you can't be arrested, I think, for breaking international law. Don't you have to break the law of a specific country? Was it England?
Since the people were arrested in England, it was English law at that point, yes.
Number 2.
Time is up. Very good questioning. And I wouldn't know who in the world to pick from these 3, except that I already know the answer. In any case, it's now time to vote for number 1, or number 2, or number 3. Now, our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote, with a guarantee of $1,000. And if the panel is full completely, the team gets $3,000. Panel, you all set with your votes? Cindy, let's start with you.
Well, I don't know what a Kowalski should look like, but number 3 doesn't look like a Kowalski. Number 1 seemed to have had little beads of sweat on the top lip, which somebody who's going into a real sting operation ain't going to have. So it leaves me number 2. That's it.
And
I always
David.
have little beads of sweat on my upper lip.
Are you in a sting?
I may be. I didn't like the way number 3 I thought he was too vague in his answer about what he really got up to in London, and so I have a feeling that the very sort of discreet-looking head of an electronic firm is number 1.
David votes for discretion. Gloria?
Well, I've been fooled before by thinking that someone's vague answers, and that's one of the reasons I didn't choose number 1. He didn't seem to know about what laws were being broken, and number 2 just had a confidence that I liked, so I voted for number 2.
Back on 2. It's 2 votes for 2. And now finally, Orson.
I think these guys have all been very well briefed. I don't have a clue. I voted for number 1 because he looks rich.
Well, the reasons are as good as any. So we end up with 2 votes for number 1, 2 votes for number 2, and number 3 that left you out completely. Now we're going to find out who the real undercover agent is. So will the real Jerry Kowalski please stand up? Number 2, you've got 2 votes. Will you tell us your name and who you are?
My name is Gene DeVito, and I import lamps that for skin toning and blemish removing.
Okay, well, know what's happening parts, right? Number 3, tell us about you.
My name is Anthony Drake. I'm retired, and I like to paint seascapes.
Well, there were 2 incorrect votes at $500 a vote, so your team will receive $1,000. And now, by the way, Jerry, the real Jerry, I have on my desk here this device, which I gather is what it is. It looks very simple. I assume that the Iraqis do not have atomic capacity right now.
No, that's correct.
Do you anticipate they will?
I think it's just a question of time, yes.
All right. In any case, I want to thank you very much for being here. To tell the truth, gentlemen, we enjoyed having you. We'll be back in a moment with an actress who fought the TV networks and won. This is my new friend. His name is Andy. He is a dog guide, and he was given to our next guest by the International Guiding Eye Foundation. Now let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Cheryl McManus.
Number 2.
My name is Cheryl McManus.
Number 3.
My name is Cheryl McManus.
Follow along, panel, while Andy and I read this affidavit. I, Cheryl McManus, am blind. I'm an actress, and I'm the first blind person to play a blind person. When I tried out for a role in the TV series Simon & Simon, there was great resistance to a blind actress being on the set. The network said the studio was too dangerous due to numerous electric cables, moving cameras, steps, and other hazards. But with the support of a writer friend and the threat of exposing the network to the media, I won. And I got the leading role, and that paved the way for other handicapped performers. There's also been a movie based on my life. I had a supporting role in that movie, but Justine Bateman played me. It was entitled, Can You Feel Me Dancing? Signed, Cheryl McManus. And we'll start the questioning with Orson Bean.
Thank you, Mark. Well, I'd like to feel you
Sit down.
dancing, whoever you are. You're beautiful. It's fun to be around a beautiful blind woman because you can stare at her without being rude, you know? Number 2, are your scripts in Braille?
What happens is I have my scripts put on tape, and then it's put on Braille.
I see. Number 3, Mark said that the dog helped him read along with it. Does the dog help you in any way as an actress?
Well, just his emotional support helps a lot.
Emotional support. Number 1, do you ever use the dog? Does the dog get to have a job with you when you play the part of a blind woman with or without a dog? Or?
Sometimes he's worked with me and sometimes not.
Yeah. Number 3 is... All right.
All right, we'll go to Gloria Loring.
Number 1, who are the 2 stars of Simon & Simon?
Jameson Parker and Gerald McCraney.
Okay. Number 2, what was the most difficult part of being on the set?
The cables, sometimes walking around. And then sometimes they change the script, and that's difficult.
Uh-huh. Number 3, how exactly did your writer friend support you at this time?
They refused to let me even audition, and he said that he would go to the media, to the press, and if necessary, to the governor's committee for the handicapped.
Uh-huh. Oh.
All right, very good. Now we go to David Niven Jr.
Thank you. Number 1, how long have you been an actress for?
13 years, but I really got my break about 7.5 years ago.
Okay. Number 2, did you start off on the stage or doing television or what?
Doing television.
And number 3, what do you think is the most difficult thing about being a blind person other than tripping over cables?
It would be transportation to and from the set.
Finally, Cindy, you anchor person.
Number 3, can you explain the feel of a set?
Well, I have to get there about an hour before the actual set call, and I have an assistant who comes with me, and with Andy, if I have Andy on the set, or with my cane, I just familiarize myself with the placements of what's on the set.
Number 2, how did your co-star have to specifically readjust to working with you?
The co-star doesn't have to readjust in the sense that they mark my markings. In other words, instead of tapes, because I can't see them, they put sandbags there or other markings for me. But basically, it's talking to another human being.
Okay, time is up, panel. My dog here is getting a little nervous. I think he wants to go over and go to his mistress. So, in any case, it's time now for you to vote for either number 1, or number 2, and number 3. Ready to cast your ballots? Orson, why don't you start off the voting?
Well, second time in a row, I don't really have a clue. Somebody is briefing. I hate to think that 2 good-looking women like that are such good liars. You can't trust anyone. I voted for number 3 for no reason other than just a hunch.
Gloria?
Okay, well, I'm sort of in the same. I'm going to go just strictly with a hunch. They all certainly could be actresses, and they did a wonderful job. Number 2 is my choice.
Well, for number 2, and then David.
Well, I tried to peek through these sunglasses, see if I could get a clue, right? And couldn't. But I liked what number 3 said about the emotional support that her dog gave her, so therefore I voted for number 3.
Another vote for number 3, and finally, Cindy.
Numbers 1 and 2 seemed to follow the sound of the voices. They looked. Number 3 looked straight ahead throughout the entire proceedings. I go for number 3.
Okay, here we have it. I don't know if the audience agrees or not, but it's interesting. I always play this game at home when I watch. The votes are in. There's Zippo for number 1, 1 for number 2, and 3 for number 3. So now for the moment of truth, I'm going to see if my little dog friend here can go over and identify his mistress. Go ahead and see if you can find the right lady. There she is. By the way, before I identify, I want to just say something that's very interesting because I'm backstage at this show a lot, and this might be of interest to those of you who are curious about how we do this show. When we have somebody on who is handicapped, like in this particular case with Cheryl McGinnis, the other two ladies are backstage totally with their sunglasses on with canes and are in method acting as blind for 2 hours before the show. In other words, they are going around groping, so there's nothing that's going to give it away to you. I think it's fantastic. Okay, ladies, you skunked the panel number 2. Tell us who you really are.
Hi, I'm Donna Lowry. I'm a floral designer, and I also work in plants and flowers, wholesale and retail.
Terrific. And number 3, you got the majority of the votes. What about you?
My name is Cheryl Fitzgerald, and I manage tax auditors for the state of Texas.
That's correct. Well, you stump the panel and you get the top amount of money, which is $3,000. Congratulations. Now, Cheryl, I think you're, of course, to be admired, and not only for what you do, but the fact that you set the trend for other handicapped performers. Are there other sightless people now acting and can get jobs?
Yes, there are many more disabled people in all categories of disability, and that was my main goal at the beginning, was not necessarily to act. I didn't like getting in front of people, but I wanted to open the doors for those that really wanted to.
I think it's wonderful. Now we have a clip from Simon & Simon, and if you remember it, can you set it up for us?
Right here, I've witnessed a murder in a museum, and the killers are after me.
Put that away. Why do you suppose they didn't just kill you right then?
I'm blind.
If that's the case, I really don't feel that you're in any danger.
Everybody down! Get down!
Ladies, thank you very much for being with us on To Tell the Truth, and thank you, Doug. We'll be right back to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience right after this. Thank you. Now it's time to play one-on-one with somebody in our studio audience. Burton, who do you have up there?
Well, Mark, today we have John Gerardo from Lawndale, California.
Nice to see you, John.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
You're going to have a chance now to play one-on-one and pick up $500. I want you to meet a lady with 2 stories, and her name is Susan Lee. Welcome, Susan. Now, Susan's going to tell us 2 stories, only one of which is true, and you spot the true story and you get $500. Now, listen very carefully. Susan, what is story number 1?
They call me the crazy cat lady. I make yarmulkes for cats.
Now, let's hear her second story.
I'm a member of the Peking Pyramid Acrobats. I can support 9 men on my shoulders.
All right. Now, panel, to help John win the money, each of you are going to ask one question about each story, and we'll start with story number 1 about the cat that wears yarmulkes. Cindy.
Well, since Katz is a Jewish name, I ask if this is an Orthodox cat that you're making this for.
Yes, he doesn't eat pork, and his food is specially prepared.
There's your answer. David?
What are these yarmulkes made out of?
They're made out of cotton.
Gloria?
It says you make yarmulkes for cats. You just mentioned one cat who is Orthodox, but who are these other cats that you make yarmulkes for?
All the other Jewish cats in the world.
Incredible. Orson?
I wonder how many Jewish cats there are in the world. I don't know. Do these cats eat gefilte fish?
Especially.
There's the story about the cat. And now for story number 2, Cindy, that's the question about the acrobats.
Well, you're supposed to be able to support 9 men on your shoulders. Honey, I'd love to support 9 men anywhere. I mean, tell me what's the first thing I got to learn to do.
Lift weights.
Okay. As a matter of interest, what is the combined weight of all these 9 men that you're supporting on your shoulder?
It's about 1,100 pounds.
Mercy. Thank you.
Other than supporting these 9 men, what is the most spectacular acrobatic feat that you do?
I do a back bend.
Now, are you staying here? You're not going back to Peking with these 9 guys?
No,
Who's going to lift them?
I live here now.
You live here now. All right.
That's the end of the question. Now, John, you've heard the cross-examination, and I want you to tell me, does Susan Lee make yarmulkes for cats, or is she that fantastic acrobat?
Well, I like the way she answered about the cats. So I would say she makes these yarmulkes for cats.
Yeah.
For a cat.
She's a cat yarmulke maker. Okay, Susan, what is your actual story?
To tell the truth, I make yarmulkes for cats.
Well, John, you won $500, and thank you for playing one-on-one.
Thank you very much.
And you have a yarmulke with you? Can we see it? Oh, that's adorable. Now, we're going to be seeing you a little later, Susan, but right now, thank you for being with us on To Tell the Truth. This is the kitty with the yarmulke. This with a little blue in this time, and she's also sitting in a special club chair made by Susan. That ends the show. Next week, equal time for Gentile cats. See you next time on To Tell the Truth. Goodbye.
This is Burton Richardson speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson television production.